2000, a movie came out that is about grit, social class, competition, and dogs. Hey, Adrian, you don't know my dog. You obviously don't know my dog.
No.
Did you ever see?
Best in Show.
Live from Philadelphia, it's the 125th annual Mayflower Kennel Club Dog Show. To think that in some countries these dogs are eaten.
Cookie and I work as a team. We met at this dance.
He didn't want to dance.
I got 2 left feet,
I thought he was kidding.
but I wasn't.
Beatrice has been showing signs of depression.
Ever since she saw us having sex. What would you like to say to Beatrice right now?
I'm sorry you had to see that.
I've been a hairdresser about 14 years. And went to a show. I asked my ex-wife, I said, who's that? She says, that's Scott.
We got top loin, porterhouse, T-bone. We got everything.
So basically, meat.
Leslie and I have an amazing relationship. People say, oh, but he's so much older than you. And you know what? I'm the one having to push him away.
Bloodhound not only has a great nose, but they can talk.
What you doing, bloodhound doggy?
What you do? What you do? And he's saying, I'm ready. That's when you know he's ready for show.
Goal is that best in show ribbon.
Actually, poodle means puddle in German.
You want your busy bee?
Come get your busy bee.
God, Harrison, if she doesn't get a toy, she's gonna flip out!
It's not in here. You left it at the hotel. Go to the hotel and get busy bee!
That's my favorite, the miniature schnauzer. You'd think they'd want to breed them bigger, wouldn't you, like grapefruits or watermelons?
Don't look at the fathead losers or freaks. You look at me!
He went after her like she's made out of ham.
All right. The year is 2000. This is the third part of our movie series, Did You Ever See? We chose from the year 2000, Best in Show. We both rewatched this movie. One of the all-time classics that really doesn't get talked about quite that much. And after rewatching it, my opening question to you is this actually a sports movie? What do you think about that, about Best in Show as a sports movie?
Yeah. This competition, kind of my criteria, sorry, I rolled my A there like I'm from New York. My criteria there for sports movies is just as long as it includes the drama of competition, I'm a little lenient with what the sport is per se. With what the sport is.
I really got the sports vibe because we're following all these competitors in their lives and into the competition, and we have the natural build of the result coming 3/4 of the movie into it, and we know somebody's going to win, we know somebody's going to lose. And what's interesting about this one is that, it's a dog competition, so no one knows the ins and outs of dog competitions, and you're locked on this whole time. We have the concept of one of them's the favorite, one of them's the underdog, one of them's the hometown sort of competitor. It really works for this in this sort of realm, and we'll get into all the reasons why this movie is unique. But I have a couple of ideas about this movie because our series is called Did You Ever See? So it's those movies that weren't blockbusters, weren't cult favorites, just movies where you caught and you kind of said to your buddy, did you ever see? So a couple things about Best in Show that I found. It's a limited release. It has no big names in this movie, yet I think everybody is recognizable in this movie. We had Jane Lynch, who hadn't really blown up yet. No. We had Eugene Levy, who we knew from American Pie and other movies. We had Catherine O'Hara from Home Alone and stuff. This was everybody. I don't know if we would have known all the actors' names in these movies, but I think we would have recognized all their faces. And then we have this offbeat subject, and then we really have this highbrow comedy content here. So it really, really puts all these ingredients into the stew to make something really, really interesting and unique. So what's your feeling of this movie when it came out? When did you first see it?
Right. So with the other movies, I saw them, I think I mentioned that I saw them probably just on like a movie rented it from Blockbuster. With this one, I actually saw probably like more than 3 or 4 times, but they would play it on Comedy Central like late at night. So on cable television.
It was definitely catching it on cable for me too.
Yeah.
Because you would catch 7 minutes of it here, 7 minutes of there, and then somebody would tell you about it. They would say like, "Oh, did you ever see Best in Show?" Or they would do a line from the movie, and you'd be like, "What's that from?" So like, as far as like the surrounding influences of it, it was like cable play and word of mouth, big time. Where it's like, "Oh, you got to see Best in Show. You got to watch it." And then once you sort of discovered who was in this movie, who wrote it, who put it all together, then you start diving into like, "Oh, that was the guy from Spinal Tap. Oh, that's a funny. Did you ever see Spinal Tap?" And then that's how I watched the Waiting for Guffman, the other Christopher Guest movie. It was from this one. It's like kind of opens up your eyes to like, oh, this is a comedy ensemble. This is a sketch team, and they do other movies and they do other roles. And you see them. And I've seen those other movies. I've seen Waiting for Guffman and the other ones. And I just think Best in Show is just far superior. It hits every element. It's so funny. It's unique in every way. And I don't know if the word is you root for every contestant, but you're invested in every single one of these contestants throughout the movie.
Huh. Yeah, actually, I had like not the opposite, but I had a different sentiment where like it kind of hits you. I don't know if this is a correct viewpoint, but like everyone I feel has like their own contender that you're rooting for. Like I don't know about you, but I rooted for Mr. Pepper with the Bloodhound. That was my favorite, just because it's just like the lone dog and like so. But that's just my opinion.
So Hubert the Bloodhound was your favorite dog?
Yeah, I just like large breed dogs.
Well, we'll get into it later, but we're going to dissect the actual contestants in the Best of Show as well. What do you think works for you in this movie? Because it's weird with this movie because it's so high concept. You know, like it's making fun of all these kind of these social classes. So it works for everybody who's watching it. Like, what works the most for you in this movie as a whole?
Especially like, like obviously the dude that owns like a fishing shop has a hunting dog. The gay couple has like this overly groomed Shih Tzu. I mean
it does hit that period in time where I think dog ownership blew up. In that 2000 where everybody had a dog, everybody would take their dog with them. I don't know when dogs became allowed to go on airplanes, but it had to be around here.
Right.
And it really hit that culture point where like, oh, dogs are like an industry. People have relationships with their dogs in the way they didn't in the past.
Big time. So a little tidbit here. I do work at a pet store, and there's a bag of dog food that has like almost like the identical, like the Shih Tzu is like a mirror spitting image of the Shih Tzu that the gay couple has. And it clicked on me when I was watching the movie, because in store I'll be like, God, what would you have to be to own a dog like that? And
right.
That's like the exact same dog in the movie.
Yeah.
I'm not very evolved people, okay? Yeah.
I wrote down all the social classes they make fun of. We have the yuppies, the small town Florida couple, New York gay elite, the Southerner,
gay elite,
and the gold digger trophy wife. You said you liked Harlan Pepper. I'll just step on my choice now. Like, I can't get enough of the gay couple scenes. Stefan.
Oh yeah,
every scene they are in is hilarious. And speaking to like all the improv that goes into this, I think what works the most, what makes you think this is an actual documentary, is they nailed talking over each other. Like, I don't think you can write talking over each other. You get it like, oh, this is a couple who's known each other a long time. They just speak over each other and they kind of laugh at each other's jokes, but they're always annoyed at some of the jokes too. It's just so great. I can't get enough of Stefan and Scott as well, but I do like Harlan Pepper, and it's just I just completely delusional that he thinks he's a ventriloquist by the end of the movie.
Right. I don't have this in any. I can talk about this because it's not in any of my categories, but maybe it's one. Well, whatever. But like when they're checking into the hotel, the two gay men, and then yeah, he's just like, "How tall are you?" He's like 6'4". I'm like,
right.
He's like, "What ethnicity? Ethnicity? Oh, can you cut that out? I sorry.
Well,
so
save it for favorite scene, because I have a lot of
I cut it out. Go for it. Yeah, then maybe it's yours too, so I don't want to do it.
Well, we have a lot to discuss with the hotel lobby in general, because like this movie follows all the characters from the regional competition, then the road trip, then the hotel lobby, then the actual first round of the competition. And I just love the juxtaposition that this is elite. This is high-end dog owners. These are wealthy couples. These are people who spend a lot of money and time on their dogs. And then they celebrate, especially with Scott, the Shih Tzu owner. They're celebrating, they're hugging and kissing, and there's a hot dog stand right behind them, and people are just buying hot dogs. You just get this balance of like, this is happening here, but this is also happening here. It's a perfect hit. I don't know what other offbeat subject they could have tackled. Maybe like a beauty pageant or something, but dog ownership was perfect.
Maybe, but that what I was gonna mention isn't even really a competition. I was gonna say like just maybe like like if they have it like those auction shows that you see like on basic cable, like where there's appraising like really obscure antiques. But that's not really. But that's the same sort of crowd that it would bring in, though. I feel.
Yeah, it is. It's perfect. They hit it perfect. And there's not a lot of research on this movie. I looked up a bunch of stuff. There's not a lot of research. I was curious how they came to the decision to choose a dog competition. Like, what were their other choices? What were some other thoughts in the running? Because I thought like it would be funny to do something offbeat about bowling or something. But like, you don't have the elite doing bowling, we wouldn't get that balance of it. So the dog competition works so well. The other point I wanted to make with the movie, and what I think what it nails so well, is the year 2000. This is really the start of the alt comedy appeal, from a wider appeal. We have the Dimitri Martins, the Patton Oswalds that are on the stand-up side, and then we have this notion of the fake documentary that's happening, and then also the wide appeal of having it on Comedy Central, just running 3 times a day, and you can catch it. Because I don't know anybody who saw this movie in the theaters. Do you?
No, I don't. Like I did. Like it's not even a movie that was on my radar. Like at that time, I was too busy watching Batman and Robin with the nipple Batman.
Right. Well, here's the other comedies in the year 2000: Little Nicky, Nutty Professor 2, Dude, Where's My Car, Road Trip, Miss Congeniality, Meet the Parents. So beyond one, maybe 2 of those movies, pretty light year for comedies in general. So we're having this turning of what a comedy is, what a comedy can be, in the turn of the century there. And Best of Show really gets its legs after its release, cable play. To me.
Yeah, not even a movie that I knew about. Maybe, and then like I'm pretty sure I didn't see the movie like around its initial release date. I'm pretty sure I saw it like years and years down the road.
Yeah, me too. Like, I think I saw it on cable, and then at some point, I think my brother was like, we watched it, and we're like, oh, let's rent it and let's actually watch the whole movie. And
unedited,
let's watch the whole movie front to back, see what this movie actually is about. And then for the next 6 months, we couldn't stop doing the lines to each other. Jokes and stuff like that. Like just the line of, like you mentioned, the hotel lobby was like, there's a lot of dogs in the hotel. And then Scott goes, a lot of dogs in the lobby. Like just these little like back and forth. And then it is one of those movies where you rewatch it and you hear 10 other lines that you didn't notice on the first watch.
Right.
I was rewatching it earlier today, and the gay couple, they're meeting Cookie and Jerry Fleck in that little like pre-competition party. And
Yeah.
Scott introduces the other guy. He's like, "This is my euphemism, Stefan." I'm like, what the hell is that?
No.
I've seen the movie 50 times. I've never heard that line. I did not catch it until this morning when I gave it like one more rewatch. I was like, this is my euphemism, Stefan.
There was one little like all the scenes that really pop, like I remember pretty well. There's one line that like isn't really even like emphasized. What's the name of the dude that passed away? Fred Willard. So you know how he's like the color commentator, and Cookie's bringing out the terrier, and then he was like, "Oh, we got a Norwich terrier over here. Hey, that handler looks a little familiar."
Right.
So I was like, "Oh, like he banged her too?
He banged her.
Who didn't she bang?"
That's also speaking to the highbrow concept of like we've got this running gag going that this woman has banged
everyone,
100 dudes on the road here.
Right. Yeah. Then they're in Philly and they live in Florida.
Yeah.
So she just fucked the whole East Coast.
They're in Fern City. That scene where they go stay over at the former lover, the Larry Miller's house. Like that movie, that scene should not work. Like that scene should take us out for some reason, but that scene is so funny where like Larry Miller forgets the dog's name. The son is on the roof with the dog.
Yeah, the dog. Oh my God. Yeah. Just like that scene alone. He's just like, I'm a hostage negotiator. Just a little trick of the trade. They all jump. They all jump.
I didn't select it as my line reading, but one did strike me where he says, "You have a bad day, someone returns a sweater. I have a bad day, lives get lost." I'm like, what the hell is going on with this guy?
Oh my God. That scene is like, I didn't have it as my favorite scene, but fuck, that scene is, I think I did have it and I switched it at the end.
Oh, really? It was, and it's just the running gag that Eugene Levy is always just like slowly losing his mind with all these encounters that his wife has had before him, and like when they pull in, he's like, "I'm nervous. I'm a little nervous."
Yeah,
and she has to talk him down.
Yeah, right. And then she has to reassure him. She's like, "Hey, you're my future. They're my past, but you're my future." But she's always like, kind of like something is rekindled in her when like those guys like come up to her, you know?
It's she's just like, awkward enough, right? Where the one guy was like, "That was the best," and she's like, "You don't forget the best."
Yeah,
just enough to drive a husband insane.
More than enough. Like that's enough to drive a marriage into the ground.
There was the one.
You don't think?
Yeah, I mean, it would be interesting. Well, they do follow them after the competition, but just like they have this relationship where like she's got this past and he just could not be more naive to it all. And then they bond over their little dog, Winky. I like that running gag. I don't think that scene should have worked, the Larry Miller one, and yet it's so funny. It works.
Oh, it's so funny.
Even the awkwardness of Eugene Levy trying to talk to the son, where he's like, what do you have there, parachuter? Now what does that do? This? He just throws it up on his plate.
Yeah.
Completely awkward and messy, and just couldn't get enough. Good running gag the whole time. Like there isn't like 5 minutes of this movie that I would like cut out. Every scene I'm like, I'm sticking around for this scene.
I mean, it's not really critical, but do you think, were you under the impression that kid was adopted, or not adopted, but maybe like a child from another marriage?
I didn't know. I didn't even cross my mind, because they do have the dad, or Larry Miller, doesn't seem to really acknowledge this kid at all until he yells at him on the roof. He's like, "I will gouge your eye out with my thumb."
Yeah.
Right.
He's not mad at you. He's not mad at you. I will gnaw your eye out.
What was your relationship to these characters and actors when you watched this movie for the first time? Did you know most of them? Like, have you ever seen Spinal Tap?
No. Yes.
You had seen Spinal Tap.
Mm-hmm. Relationship to so you know the Eugene Levy, or is it Levy? Either or. Of course, I know him from American Pie. Probably one of the first movies I I masturbated to. If there's any cinematic
American
masturbation material out there, probably it's up there.
I'm hoping it wasn't like the Stifler scenes, though, right? It had chicks in it. No.
No. Oh, I see what you're saying. So yeah, there's that. Of course, Catherine O'Hara. I know her from the Home Alone.
Jennifer
movies.
Coolidge was in American Pie too.
Right. Yeah. Who else?
First time I ever heard the term MILF. I don't think I ever heard it before that movie.
I think they pioneered that. No,
I think so.
Did they
right?
pioneer? They could have, maybe.
I think so. MILF. She was the original MILF.
Jeez, bro, are we breaking some news here? But yeah, so and then I think what's his name? So the one yuppie couple, I think he came out in Reno 911.
Mm-hmm. Did he? The husband,
I'm
Hamilton?
Sure. Mm-hmm. Michael Hitchcock. I'm pretty sure he comes out in Reno 911. So I had some familiarity with some of the cast.
Yeah. So it was one of those that just had just enough to hook you, and then you stay for the whole movie.
Oh boy, did I!
We got to get more into this American Pie masturbation.
That's a separate series.
There was a lot of nudity in that movie.
Mm-hmm.
Let me give you some stats of the year 2000. I'm going to take you back. The year 2000, St. Louis Rams win that Super Bowl against the Tennessee Titans. LA Lakers win the NBA Finals. Oscars, this was the American Beauty year. So Spacey wins for actor, Sam Mendes for director, American Beauty wins Best Picture, Hilary Swank won for Boys Don't Cry. There was a leap year in the year 2000. Mission Impossible 2 was the highest grossing movie of the year. And America Online purchased Time Warner.
Holy shit.
So we had some interesting stats going on in the year 2000 there.
Just a different time and place, am I right?
Heavy hitters going on there. Blockbuster movies, St. Louis Rams. We thought we were on the versioning of a St. Louis Rams dynasty for a second there.
Greatest show on turf.
That's right. Yeah, remember they do the bob and weave in the end zone?
Mm-hmm.
No one could stop them, and yet they only won that one Super Bowl.
Yeah. Well, this isn't a sports podcast, so, or at least not this episode. But I was going to ask, is that the only Super Bowl that they went to, though? They went to another one against the Patriots.
Well, they went to the Patriots one that the Patriots beat them in, but I think that was it. They went to one, didn't go to the next year, and then the next year was the Patriots.
Yeah, okay. That's still pretty good.
In that one. Yeah, that was a fun team. Everybody liked that team. Marshall Faulk, Kurt Warner.
Yeah.
That was
Marshall
a
Faulk
fun team.
Mm-hmm. And then also, I mean, again, not a sports podcast, but not bad for a dude that was bagging groceries. Am I right?
Right. Great story. Kurt Warner. I usually don't like the Jesus guys, but I always liked Kurt Warner. I thought he was a great player. And then I liked that he had that like lull when they traded him to like New York or something.
Oh, he's like the mentor.
He was horrible. And then he came back to Arizona and they went to the Super Bowl. I was like, I really wanted Kurt Warner to win that Super Bowl.
I did too. I think in a different universe.
Some hot Kurt Warner talk there. Stats of the movie. Released September 19th, 2000, directed by Christopher Guest. The budget was $10 million. It grossed $20.8 million at the box office. So it did pretty well. Runtime is 90 minutes. 93% with critics on Rotten Tomatoes. 88% with the audience. Like, it's rare they're that close, critics and audience. Yeah. And then I got some fun facts. Parker Posey got real braces for her character in this movie.
She really?
That was a fun fact I looked up.
Wow.
One of the shots of the arena was actually a borrowed shot from the movie Sudden Death, the Van Damme movie, where he's in the hockey arena. They borrowed an aerial shot for the movie.
Okay.
And a review from Roger Ebert is, the movie is consistently just plain funny and sometimes ascends to a kind of crazed genius. Roger Ebert loved it.
not to be an asshole, but doesn't a budget of 10 million sound a little high?
Does it? What do you
Kinda,
think?
yeah. I thought it was gonna be like a budget of like $800,000, 800,000, like something like that, like a million. 10 seems
Yeah,
steep.
I would think all these actors are getting less than $1 million for it, and there's like 6 of them in it. So what would you guess the majority of that budget is spent on? The location, I guess. All these location spots. I don't know.
Fuck. Well,
or no, it didn't have any music in it that really they needed copyrights to.
And then you say the one aerial shot is stolen from another movie.
Maybe Fred Willard demanded a fancy trailer or something.
Yeah, it could be. Well,
where did you stand on the Fred Willard, Trevor Beckwith scenes there? I feel like it's funny, but it is almost one scene too many for me. Like, it got so annoying, but maybe that was the point of it. But it was like one interaction too many for me. Did that work for you?
In fact, I had it like in my plot holes, but then I later changed it because I was like really inspecting those scenes. So I was like, are they like performing for a camera? What's going on? But they are mic'd up, so it is like a broadcast. Just a little. There's a funny line where what's his name? Fred Willard makes like a Milton Berle, like sort of lame old timey joke, and then he's like, "Yo, I like that joke when you told it last year." So it's like he's got the same routine. So it's just like, cut it back, dial it back, man.
Yeah, it like reminds me of like if you like had to sit at a dinner table with like your dad or like that one annoying friend where you're like, oh, I don't like. The other guy doesn't want to like give in to his little jokes. He's like annoying him, but like Fred Willard really isn't even acknowledging him. He's just going on with his jokes. Like, is there any money exchanged under the table? And he's like, no, good heavens, no. He's like, I would do it. Like, what? Just completely odd couple pairing. Like, it's funny. I've watched it so many times. Maybe that's why it gets annoying to me. By the end.
And it's like a really odd, like you said, odd pairing. Like, it is kind of a elegant competition sort of spectacle, and to have like that dude in there that's just like so fucking obnoxious and like really doesn't know anything about like the competition itself. I don't know, it's weird. It's a weird choice.
It's like like I said, one interaction too many for me, just because it gets annoying, but I think it's supposed to be annoying.
Oh,
but
yeah.
It's like,
it works.
It works. It works in that. Back to the highbrow comedy concept of it. Like, it works on every level. It's the whole like, oh, there's the cup. I've taken sponge baths and smaller things than that. like we got it. Just total like high school football coach type of humor.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, and then he makes a bunch of like sort of comparisons to football. He's like, so if this dog, if you needed a wide receiver, which one of these dogs would be the wide receiver and which one would be the tight end? It's like, all right, we get it.
Right. All over the place. He just couldn't be more of the bumbling idiot, except he is actually announcing this dog competition. He's got the perfect little like bouffant hairdo. He's got his little bow tie. Just out of place in every regard to it. Fred Willard.
You know what his character reminds me of a lot, actually, is the Jason Bateman character, which I'm sure was inspired by this dude, the Jason Bateman character from Dodgeball.
Yeah,
that's a good
comp.
Kind of just like doesn't know like really what's going on. It's like comedic relief. We get it. Out of pocket.
Right. That is a good comedy trope over the years, is the announcer of the sports team or the competition. Jason Bateman, Fred Willard, Bob Uecker in Major League would be another where he's kind of like,
holy shit.
He's like, wow, these guys suck. He's like, and then it's just like the trope of the announcer has the bottle of Jack Daniels, to the side of him, because the team is doing so bad type of thing. So
check out the tits on that broad.
just a little bit outside and all that stuff.
Just a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, the sports announcer trope. I didn't notice that, but now I think about that, every sports movie, comedy, has got to have an announcer that kind of is in his own world, doing his own comedy in the booth.
Yep.
Rob Schneider in Necessary Roughness. There's the part where the team is doing bad and he just covers the microphone and yells shit because he's so disappointed in the team.
Hit that cough button, Rob.
All right, let's do the categories. We got a bunch to talk about. Let's start with favorite scene. Now, we've done these categories a few times, so I think we've ironed them out. I got a good hold of what each category is and represents. So favorite scene, I've got 2 nominees. I've got the hotel lobby with Stefan and Scott, and I got the final judging, the final best of show judging where we actually see that Winky wins. I think it was great tension. And then it ends with like almost like a Rocky IV freeze frame where he lifts Winky up and it freezes as well. So those are my 2 nominees, and the hotel lobby is, I think I'm going to give the win for that one.
That doorman was approximately
Mediterranean type.
I'll say.
Gotta trim their nose here.
Hi, may I help you?
Vanderhoof.
V-A-N?
D-E-R-H-O-O-F.
Okay, non-smoking, 2 nights. We have you down for Queen.
What are you suggesting, my dear man?
Do you want to put this on a credit card?
Oh, yes.
Talk to Daddy.
Seen enough dogs today, have you?
Dogs, yes. Big show. There's a lot of them here in the
A
hotel.
lot of pretty dogs.
A lot in here in the lobby.
Okay. If I could get you to sign here.
How tall are you?
6'4".
Oh,
Thought so. I feel like Alan Ladd at Easter Island.
6'4". Where are you from? Like Norland? Norway?
I'm Irish-German.
Irish?
Like Robert Duvall in The Godfather.
Brockwurst and shillelaghs. Paging Dr. Freud.
What are your nominees for favorite scene?
So my favorite scene is like kind of long because it switches locations several times actually. I don't know, but in my mind it's one scene. All right, it's like people fucking relax. So like when they're looking, so the 2 yuppie couples, so Posey Parker and what's his name, Michael Hitchcock,
Hamilton Swan.
Right. Yeah. When
is
they're
that LL
prepping.
Bean? Is that LL Bean? Can I check?
You know what's funny? I don't know if I got the idea, if it was planted in my brain, like this movie planted in my brain. But when I was thinking about it, I'm like, there's such like a LL Bean catalog couple, and they mention it like in like their first on-camera interview, mockumentary on-air camera interview. So whatever, that's just a side bit.
Right.
But
it's such an LL Bean guy at the time.
Oh my God.
Just them describing how they met is like, I'd seen you at law school and you were at the Starbucks and I was at the other Starbucks and I went to that Starbucks. It's so funny. We were on our Macs, like every year 2000 trope they hit. Mac computers, Starbucks, LL Bean, and catalogs.
The switching of like preferred drinks. No, I don't drink lattes anymore. I switch over to mug. It's just like, shut the fuck. Like I love them. I love that I hated them. But so they're prepping to go up for their, to showcase their dog. And then she's like, she's not responding. She's freaking out. And then she's like, go get her beanie.
Go get busy.
She's like, it's not in here. Yeah. So it's like, he's like, and the dog is not looking at him. He's like, look at me. Don't look at these fat ass losers over here. Look at me. Oh God! And she goes back.
Look at these losers.
These fat ass losers. I loved it. And then she goes back to the hotel room and she's looking for the bee, and then she confronts the hotel manager and the fucking one of the maids, like, get your papers.
Right. She's totally losing it. Just like no concept of any reality. She's like, why don't you go to the store? It's like, you cannot help me, hotel man. Storms out of there with a headband. She's wearing like a poncho type of thing too.
We have a pet store downstairs. It's like, what are you, a wizard? What are you, a wizard? Why didn't you tell me that earlier?
What do you want? What do you want more than anything in the world? You want the big blue ribbon? Uh-huh, that's what you want. You want red? No, you don't want red. You want yellow? No, you don't want yellow. You want to go home with the blue. What do you see in front of me? What do you see in front of me? You see a big blue ribbon. It's right here in front of you. You want it? You come and you grab it. You get it.
She's not
you get
listening to you. She's freaking out.
Well, get the busy bee. You want your busy bee. You get your busy bee.
You get the busy bee. I need to trim her whiskers. It's in the crate.
Where is it?
It's in the crate.
Why didn't you have it out to begin with? Where's the crate? It's not in here. It's not in here.
It should be in the crate.
It's not in the crate. I just told you that.
God, Hamilton, if she doesn't get her door, she's gonna flip out.
Damn. It's not in here. You left it at the hotel. You go back and you get her busy bee. Go to the hotel and get busy bee. Run! Run! Go! Mommy's getting your toy. Don't you worry. No, we had a little discussion. Look at me. Look at me. Don't look at anybody else. Don't look at the fat ass losers or freaks. You look.
Parker,
fantastic.
like we haven't talked about Parker Posey yet, but who plays a bitch better than Parker Posey? She might be in the Hall of Fame for. We need a bitch in this movie. Parker Posey is great. Dazed and Confused. She's the perfect senior bitch. This movie, she's a great bitch in it. I'm trying to think what else. What else she's in, but she's perfect. She nails it.
That's like all. Yeah, that's all she played. Like she actually came out. Well, I can't even mention the movie because she doesn't play like that bitch. But it seems like all the movies she came out in the '90s and like the 2000s, she was just a fucking unbearable bitch.
Mm-hmm.
A New York bitch.
Nails it. Nails the bitch card.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and then I forgot that she came out in Dazed and Confused because she looks so young in that movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. My favorite scene, though, hotel lobby. Scott and Stefan walk in. What I like about Scott and Stefan, like we're talking about running gags, they are constantly sizing up dudes in this movie. They walk in and they're like, guy, doorman was Mediterranean? Oh, definitely. Mediterranean.
Oh, yeah.
And then they ask the guy, the hotel manager guy, Ed Begley Jr., how tall are you?
Yeah.
Where are you from? Norland? Norway?
Norland?
So I love that scene. Even the part where he's like, okay, we got you down for a queen. What are you insinuating?
Oh, yeah.
And then just like, you can't even keep up with the jokes. Like, do you want to put this on a credit card? And then Scott goes, talk to daddy, and turns his back and leans on the bar.
I mean, that dude, what's his name? John Michael Higgins. So the flamboyant, that dude is like mythologically gay in that movie, man.
Mm-hmm.
Especially like in the final showcase, like he has like a little bit, like a slight hue of eyeshadow.
Yeah, his costume is great. He's walking with his hand out.
Yeah, I love it.
Perfect, nails it. Even when this isn't in the hotel lobby scene, but when they're describing how they met, it's perfect. It's like, we like old movies, and I was a wild man. I was a big man on campus back in those days, and they're kind of like joking with each other. Like, you get it right away. So I go hotel lobby when Scott and Stefan walk in. That's my favorite scene. I could watch that scene over and over again.
I love that scene. Irish, German, like Robert Duvall and The Godfather.
Yeah, they both go, oh. Yeah. What does he say? Bratwurst and shillelaghs paging Dr. Freud? I didn't get it. I didn't get the reference at all. I don't know what that meant.
Gay humor went right over my head.
Right. A lot of gay humor. Like, I didn't get the reference at all, and yet I start laughing the whole time. And Ed Begley Jr., the hotel guy, is like, what are they talking about? He doesn't understand anything they're doing. I could watch that scene all day. So funny. He's like, even how he spells his last name, Vanderhoff. Vanderoof. He just says it like he's teaching a class or something. So I went hotel lobby. You went with the busy bee scene.
Busy bee.
Next category, WTF moment of the movie. This is the moment of the movie where you thought this movie, or where you knew this movie was different. And I gave this one the psychologist opening scene where the swans are describing that their dog watched them have sex, and therefore the dog is depressed. And you're like, what the hell is this movie? What is going on here? That's my WTF moment of that movie.
And out of all the couples too, you never really see them doing any training with their dog. We never get the impression that they're like trained, like that their dog is trained, that they know the whole routine.
Right.
So it's just funny that they're always bickering with each other, and they're kind of projecting their own feelings onto their poor Weimaraner.
Right. Beatrice. And just the psychologist who's just leaning in the back of his chair and just like, what would you like to say to Beatrice now? he secretly knows that they're insane, and yet he's just going along with all the questions.
Right.
Like we bought a book from the Karma Sutra. I was in a position that I was very vulnerable in.
Right. Doggy style.
Right. Yeah, I think that's what she's describing.
She described doggy like to a T. Was it what did she call it? The something cow?
Yeah, what was that position called? I can't remember.
The encompassing cow, something stupid. It's like, dude, that's doggy style.
Right.
Call it like it is.
that was my WTF moment where like, what kind of ride are we in for in this movie where they're in the psychologist's office talking about their dog watching them having sex?
Right. Yeah.
What do you got for your WTF moment of the movie?
Damn. So leading up to everything, you know, they give the introduction to all the dogs where it went really crazy. We already talked about, so they go to that, or no. So I guess I can talk about, so leading up, they have like that birthday party for their terrier. And then, what's his name? Gary is like, yeah, we're going out 140 miles out of our way to visit someone we met for 2 hours. And then it's just like, no, are you getting jealous? It's just like, oh no, this chick's like a floozy.
Right.
It's like, yeah.
They have
already made me uncomfortable. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, they have that little weird interaction.
Yeah.
As they're leaving. That's right. Even when they're leaving, like Eugene Levy is just nailing like the middle-aged dad jokes where he's like, all right, we'll take care of the house. Don't water the plants, they're plastic. And they all laugh at it. I'm like, oh my God. This is everyone's father, everybody's uncle, just making horrible jokes.
Yeah. What wholesome friends too, how they see you off as you're about to embark on a road trip to a fucking dog showcase, essentially.
Yeah.
Wholesome friends.
Wholesome Florida friends.
Don't water the plants, they're plastic.
Even just the lines were like, you know, they win the regional one. And then Eugene Levy's in his lawn chair. He's like, super.
Yeah.
Super. And then it just comes full circle where he has to show Winky at the end and they win. It's just great drama. It's just great buildup because in the
great drama
interview where she's like, Eugene Levy is like, I like to think of us as a team, although I do nothing.
Yeah.
Moral support.
Yeah.
Give this movie 1 Oscar. It's not 2 nominees because I was going to say best screenplay, but if you improvise a majority of the movie, can you really say this is the best screenplay? So I'll give it to the director, Christopher Guest, who, by the way, I didn't know Christopher Guest was Harlan Pepper until I looked up the cast. I had no idea. Okay. I didn't even know. So I'm going to give it best director. He just directed a masterpiece, in my opinion.
You know what? Then I'm going to sound like a jerk off, but I'm giving it to the director for the exact same reason that you said.
Yeah. What else could
letting them cook. Let them cook.
Was this the original Let Them Cook?
Give them a good premise. Like, that's like a really, like, I'm fond of like that sort of philosophy. Like when it comes to like storytelling, like just like give them a good structure, give them some lines, but let them play off it. Let them take it to their own place. So yeah, really good directing.
How far after this does Curb Your Enthusiasm come around? Because Curb Your Enthusiasm is in the same vein of put a couple people in the scene, give them a premise, and then go. Curb Your Enthusiasm must have been a couple years after this, right? That it got maybe 5 years. So it's in that world of like, oh, let's get sketch comedy people in here and we'll make a good movie. We'll make a good TV show. And like, what were the other sketch groups around this time? I remember Kids in the Hall was something on Comedy Central that I never watched, but everybody loved it. Upright Citizens Brigade was another one. And then SNL, of course, was always around.
Yeah.
But it seems like
Second City TV, maybe? I don't know when that ended.
Yeah, like I was aware of a lot of this stuff. I never watched it, but I was aware that there were these things going on that were funny and irreverent. Like, what was the one, maybe it was Kids in the Hall, where all the guys dressed up as women. Like, it was an all-guy sketch group, but they were always women in every sketch.
Yeah.
So
that one's a little before my time, so I'm not really keen to that one. So
yeah, I want to say it was Kids in the Hall. I can't remember. Okay. I'm not 100% sure though. So
and then I think Oh, okay. I'm pretty sure that Catherine O'Hara came from this Second City
SCTV?
TV too.
Yeah, I
I'm
think
not
you're right.
mistaken.
Yeah, a lot of Canadian. We had a lot of Canadian influence. We got Martin Short was another one. Who were the other Canadians there? Dave Foley. Canada
John
people.
Candy.
John Candy, right. Was Rick Moranis Canada?
Yeah.
I can't remember.
Yeah, he's
But
in
we
it
had
too.
this huge Canada influence of sketch comedy.
Yes,
So,
sir.
Oscar, unless we could nominate the dogs, can the dogs get an Oscar? What about best movie featuring a pet?
No.
Add that category to the Oscars. It has to be this one. Best movie featuring a pet. It'd be between this and Air Bud. Or
Shit,
maybe,
I do want to.
maybe Babe. Remember Babe? That movie was huge.
Babe, yeah. That's the one with the talking pig, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Did he talk? I can't even remember.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't either.
He had to.
Yeah, Babe, Free Willy, Air
Beethoven.
Bud.
Oh, remember Beethoven?
Beethoven.
Beethoven had like
Of course.
3 sequels.
Of course.
Yes.
Free Willy. A
Free
friend,
Willy.
a kid befriends a killer whale.
Remember White Fang? White Fang? That movie was huge.
White Fang.
I think that was Ethan Hawke and like a wolf.
Oh, wow. A wolf whisperer. Damn, I feel like there's a lot more, but I don't know.
There's a lot. You're right.
Yeah.
Okay, next category, by far the favorite of the listeners. Best line reading of the movie, where you and I do our best line reading from the movie we just watched. I did a lot of thought. I took a lot of time to prepare myself. I narrowed it down to a couple. My first nominee was the interview with Jennifer Coolidge with the old husband sitting right next to her. And she's like, we love snow peas and soup and talking and not talking. I love that one. That one's funny. I wrote down the Larry Miller one. You have a bad day, someone returns a sweater. I have a bad day, lives get lost. The song that Scott Vanderhoff sings on the phone to, I'm not sure who's on the other line.
Oh, yeah.
Where he's like, they buried such and such in the field. I wanted to do that song, but.
And William right next to her.
And out of the ground grew a briar. Good night. Don't stay up watching old movies. Like, what? Who are you talking to?
He had to have made that song up. There's no fucking way that song is real.
Right. I was gonna sing that song for my line reading, but my best line of the movie is Harlan Pepper listing nuts.
Nuts. Yeah.
Okay. Are you ready for my line reading?
Of course. I'm always ready.
I used to be able to name every nut that there was. And that used to drive my mother crazy, because she would say, Harlan Pepper, if you don't stop naming nuts. And the joke was we lived in Pine Nut. And I think that's what put it in my head at that point. She'd hear me in the other room. She would just start yelling. I'd say, peanut, hazelnut, cashew nut, macadamia nut. And that was the one that sent her into going crazy.
Yeah,
that's my line reading.
I used to be able to name every nut that there was. And that used to drive my mother crazy, because she used to say, Harlan Pepper, if you don't stop naming nuts. And the joke was, of course, that we lived in Pine Nut. And I think that's what put it in my head at that point. So I'd go to sleep. She'd hear me in the other room, and she would just start yelling. I'd say, peanut, hazelnut, cashew nut, macadamia nut. That was the one that would send her into going crazy. She said, you stop naming nuts.
That's the one that made her go crazy.
Right. A little hint of like that Harlan Pepper's mom was nuts.
And then Hubert, he was still a puppy, but he go. I think he was trying to say macadamia nut.
Right. It keeps going after that for a little
Yeah.
while longer. He's like a white, all natural white macadamia nut.
Yeah, right.
Just
Pine
naming
nut,
nuts.
which is a nut and also the name of a city.
Right. Perfect, like small town hillbilly banter. I used to be
Which
able
is
to name every nut.
yeah. I like that scene too because like everyone in the beginning like is kind of like on equal footing in terms of like no one really is like on your bad side. And then like they start to like all annoy you with like their little like idiosyncrasies. So like he like was my favorite, and then like he started to do that fucking routine, and I was like, God, he's so fucking annoying.
Right.
Where he was like doing a little like doing his little fucking car
Oh,
jingles.
you mean like the singing in the car where he's doing like the
Yeah.
yeah, that was funny.
And then he starts listing like he has like all these monotonous fucking tendencies.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, everyone just starts to annoy you. So my line reading is so like when the gay couple they go to like a butcher shop to get I guess like fresh meats for their dogs.
Mm-hmm.
So like he's like so get a half pound of salmon and a half pound of kidneys and just give me a piece of sausage. I just want to hold it.
I think a little bit of the salmon, maybe a half pound of the salmon, half pound of the kidneys.
Half pound.
And do me a favor, just get one of those pepperoni sticks out. I just want to hold it.
Will you stop?
He was like, "Oh, stop it."
Yeah, it's just so fucking
We got
outrageous.
pastrami, we got meatloaf, we got ground beef. So meat is what you're saying.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So I did it wrong. Let me give it some care.
Okay.
And do me a favor. Can you just bring me out a stick of pepperoni? I just want to hold it. He's just being so fucking over the top and making everyone so uncomfortable.
Yeah,
That
just like doing
fucking
the
deli,
doing the
dude.
little jokes. Doing like,
Yeah.
and will you take off the membranes? Will you take off the membranes?
Like, oh, fine, I'll take. Yeah, it's just like, and then that dude, that New York butcher, you could just tell he had so much buried homophobia that was just
Yeah.
waiting to just pop out.
The other, I do like that scene. The other scene that I think is really odd but still funny is the first time we see Harlan doing his ventriloquist act with the dummy, and he's in pajamas, and he's doing the act, but then the dog comes, and there's this weird part where he puts the eyes of the dummy down, like the eyes are getting low, and then
Getting
Harlan goes,
sleepy.
"You going to sleep?" It's like, are you talking to the dummy? And he does where the dog jumps up on his lap and the puppet goes, "What you doing, bloodhound doggy?" Like, how often have you talked to the dog with this puppet, Harlan?
You have to be a little off to be into
Right.
ventriloquism. Am I crazy?
Yeah, I think so. You
Let
going
me
to sleep?
let me ask you a follow-up question. When you find out someone's into ventriloquism, do you look at them a little differently, like a little?
I think I would. I've never met any ventriloquists, but
Oh, thank God.
I think I would be pretty curious to say like, "Hey, let me see you do some of the act or something."
Oh no, but I'm saying like just like as a like just being like a fan, like not even practicing, like not even performing. Like they're just like, so what's the name of that comedian that's known for
Oh yeah, Terry Fedor?
one of those guys? But like if
Really
someone was like
famous guy.
but like what if someone's like list them like as their favorite comedian? Then are you just like
Yeah, that's true. No one has a favorite ventriloquist. You're right. You going to sleep?
just like yeah, that part's weird. Something eerie. Something
What was
off.
Puppet's name? I don't even remember.
Oh God.
Also, the
Yeah.
cutaway to like the Egyptian like Sphinx holding another little Egyptian Sphinx. that
Yeah.
like ventriloquism was this ancient art.
Right, exactly. Fucking weird. I don't know.
Next
Not a fan.
category, best role player. This is an actor, a prop, a setting, that made a significant contribution. I got 2 nominees. Number 1, I got Busy Bee. And I also got every one of Cookie's former lovers as my best role player. You got Larry Miller, the radio booth guy, the guy at the party, potentially Fred Willard, or Busy Bee. This is a tough one. Because there's a lot of action going on in this movie on the sides, but I think I'm going to give it to Busy Bee.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. You're going to like my role player too. Goes hand in hand. Beatrice, the Weimaraner.
That's
the dog that, yeah.
Mm.
Fuck yeah, that dog is, I mean, at the heart of that sort of turbulent relationship. That's just one of the best parts of the movie, in my opinion, is that fucking, that turbulent fucking relationship. And they get rid of the dog at the end of the movie.
Yeah, they get rid of it. It gets dismissed from the competition as well. And they get rid of Beatrice. Beatrice really didn't do anything. Barked at the one guy at the airport.
Barked at the guy.
Mm.
Hey, put a muzzle on that dog and your mouth.
Did you provoke her?
Yeah.
Saying they're going to sue him.
Tickets. Yeah. Oh yeah. Then they're like, of course they're both lawyers. Like they're just going to use like fucking hold people liable for everything that bothers them.
Hamilton and what was her name? Meg Swan.
Meg. Yeah. Megan.
Next category, plot holes. At first I was like, this is going to be hard to find plot holes, but I actually found a bunch in here. My first plot hole was, can you just switch handlers in a dog competition? Is that allowed? What are the rules of this dog competition? So question mark there. Other plot hole, the concept of a nice hotel employee. I've been in a million hotels. No one is ever nice that works at a hotel. This hotel employee is going out of his way to get Cookie and Jerry Fleck a place to stay in the utility closet. He's nice to everybody. He's looking for Busy Bee. I never met a nicer hotel employee. And I got that. And then finally, the last discussion is, in the plot hole, is did the right dog win the Best in Show competition? But what are your plot holes before we get to that?
Yeah, that's a good question. Well, you know what? My plot hole, I really don't have any, I'll be honest with you. There's some nitpicking that I can do. Like with the color commentator that's played by what's his name? Fred Willard. But no, nothing much. I just be like a snobby asshole if I just wanted to find one. But none for me. I guess one would be like they're putting them up so their credit card is denied at the front desk, and they put them up in the broom closet essentially. Like how are you not going to need supply? Like, aren't they going to just be constantly interrupted? So that but that's
maybe to piggyback on that plot hole. When he says, "Oh, let me call the credit card company," he's got a person on the line inside of 8 seconds. Like, when does that ever happen? You call a credit card company, you're on hold for 20 minutes, and you don't talk to anybody.
That's true. That is a bit of a
slight
glaring. Yeah,
I'm digging, but a slight one.
Near perfect movie, like in terms of just story structure. So.
All right, let's get to the final contestants for Best in Show. I wanna debate if the right dog actually won Best in Show. So here are the dogs that make Best in Show: the Pointer, the Bloodhound, the Siberian Husky, the Terrier Norwich, the Shih Tzu, Rhapsody in White, which is the Poodle, and the Sheepdog. Now the Terrier wins. Was the Terrier actually Best in Show? Who was your favorite dog of all those? Would you stick with the Bloodhound?
I think so. No, and then they do make a bit of a reference to it early on that the dog wasn't ready, to be crowned. And then I don't know if it was done intentionally, but when he's gating, as they say, so when he's running around with them, the dog does tend to was looking at Christopher Guest, the character. What's the name of the character? Pepper, first name Harlan.
Harlan Pepper.
Harlan, yeah, the dog was kind of like not looking straight ahead, so like not best in show. But I wonder if that was intentional. For me, I really like the Siberian Husky.
Yeah, that dog looked great. Had a perfect gait.
Dog.
It's running around all like it's floating on air. I like that Siberian Husky. I would have liked to spend a little more time with the Husky as well. What about the poodle? Because what I didn't fully understand is when the Jane Lynch character says to Harlan Pepper when she's kind of talking trash in the backstage area, she's like 2-time best in show. So did Rhapsody in White win the last 2 years?
Yes.
Or did Jane Lynch handle the last 2 years winners? So was Rhapsody in White going for the three-peat?
Yes. And I think that was like a little bit of her, like she knew, or she was very insecure. She felt that she was going to choke. Like, hey, I can't fuck this up.
Yeah. I do love that scene where she goes up to the Bloodhound. She's kind of talking trash. She's like, oh, Bloodhound, huh? Bloodhound, how old? She's 2. And she's like, I don't know if you know, I handle Rhapsody in White. But you probably already know that. And Harlan Pepper goes, well, I do and I don't. He kind of gives her some trash back. And then she leaves and he kind of stares at her walking away like, oh, that was a flyby. We just got a flyby from the best in show. She's nervous. That was really funny scene.
That's like a comedian going up to someone like, hey, you're going to go? Like, oh, yeah, in a couple of minutes. Yeah. I opened up for Chris Rock a couple of months ago.
Right.
You heard of me? I was like, yeah.
Well, in my world, when you go to these shows where there's a bunch of comics on it, the trash talk is like, yeah, I just got back from being on the road. I was just in San Francisco. They tell you about the shows they just came back from and how great they did. Like the early show was dead, but like they livened up once I got like 15 minutes in. Like that's the trash talk I hear. Is the subtle like where they just got back from. So it resonated. A little subtle trash talk.
A little bit, huh? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Friendly, but in a weird way, very hostile.
Yeah. Let me let you know my status real quick. That was it. And that's the vibe I got from her. So you think the Siberian Husky?
Very like, and then I'm around a lot of dogs. Obviously, I see like a good 100 dogs every day. That dog was near perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, kind of wish that they paired it with a character that we actually spent time with, like during the movie, because that was like almost like a
right.
That character, the owner was not featured.
Right. Yeah, because we had all the characters make best of show except for Beatrice, and then we had three dogs that weren't in there as well. So then this becomes the next question: if Winky wins, the terrier, what seed do you think Winky is? Is this like a 10 seed winning the NCAA tournament, or is this a 16 seed, or is this a wild card team winning the Super Bowl?
Got a perfect example for you.
Okay.
I'm going to take you back to 2007 when the New York Giants upset the undefeated Patriots in the Super Bowl.
Oh, that's a good one.
The Patriots.
Winky was a dog. Winky was an excellent dog nominee.
And the Patriots being the 2-time reigning champion standard poodle. The poodle that won twice.
Yep. Yeah, that's right. So Bill Belichick was the Jane Lynch, is what you're saying?
yeah, exactly. And the poodle was Tom Brady.
Yep. We're just on to Cincinnati.
We're just starting to talk about
that's a good comp. Yeah. New York Giants taking down the undefeated Patriots in the Super Bowl.
I love Tom Coughlin. Hats off to him. Hats off to Eli and the Morrow family.
This leads me into the next question. It's not a category. I just added it. I'm adding a would you rather for this episode, because what this movie does is it gives us the freeze frame of Winky winning the best in show, and Jerry Flick holds them up, and we're like, oh, he won. It doesn't end there though. The movie doesn't end. We get a little follow up of what everybody's doing 6 months after, and we get to see what they're up to. So here's your would you rather. Would you rather subscribe to the magazine American Bitch, buy the Shih Tzu calendar, listen to Captain and Cookie's Beg For It album, book Harlan Pepper's ventriloquism act for your birthday, or watch Meg and Hamilton Swan have sex. You have to choose one.
I would kind of want to see Hamilton and Meg have sex because I bet you it's like the most whiny sex ever. Like, are you comfortable here? Maybe you should lay on my side. No, not my side. Like, I can write the script for that.
A lot of stopping and starting.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with them having sex.
I think that's the obvious answer. Like, let's just see how weird it can be.
Yeah, exactly.
It's almost like we have to eliminate that. Like, we know that one's gonna win. What's your second?
With that, so with that out, I'd go with the calendar. I thought the calendar was pretty.
Calendar. Calendar's a good choice.
Yeah.
It's like I like
gay
how
as it is. It was funny.
Yeah, I like when Scott's walking with like the two little cappuccinos. Like, all right, I'm coming. I only have 5 arms. It's never stopped. The competition ended and just the banter just continued.
Oh yeah.
All right. That was the would you rather. So that leads us in nicely right into the next category, sports comparison. What movie would you compare this to in the sports world? And I went with, this movie is so complete, so tight, not over the top, not understated. I went with the Tim Duncan era Spurs. This was just winning a couple championships in a row, no flashy guy, no dunks, just a clean buzz through the championships and win the finals. I went with Tim Duncan era Spurs.
Ooh, that's I see what you're saying. No flash, no flash. There's no flash really. Gets the job done.
Yeah, no Shaq on this
Solid.
team, no Kevin Garnett, no big actor in this movie. Just all solid. Tony Parker's, Tim Duncan's, Bruce Bowen's. That's it.
Son of a bitch. That's a pretty good one. I was gonna go with another. Yeah, but you see, Tim Duncan has that boring factor, and my player doesn't really. I was gonna say Peyton Manning. No, you know what? Peyton Manning was pretty boring, wasn't he? He wasn't an explosive athlete. Like, he just, he fucking audible to the right play and threw for 55 touchdown passes with the Broncos.
Not bad. I like that. Peyton
Yeah,
Manning?
I'll go with that one. Yeah, because I was going to
Peyton
say
Manning, Broncos Peyton Manning, huh?
Oh, yeah. Colts.
No one the Colts.
55.
Oh, yeah, you're a Broncos guy.
55, baby. Unbroken to this day. Fuck off, Patrick Mahomes.
55. What's the 55?
55 single. So that's the record for touchdown passes in a season. 55 by Peyton Manning.
Oh, right. But didn't he set that with the Colts?
No.
Oh, what did he
That's
set
the year
with the
that.
Colts?
That's the year. So the year that he broke it, the 55, but he had to hurdle over Tom Brady's 54. And that's the year they got blown out in the Super Bowl by the Seattle Seahawks.
Ah, right. I like to forget that Super Bowl.
Me too. And I
That
did
Super
30
Bowls.
minutes into the game.
That Super Bowl was over before it started. Rough. You get like one mulligan in the Super Bowl. Take that one out. For me, it's Raiders Tampa Bay. I had to forget that game.
Yeah, but you know what? You were young. You had a lot to look forward to.
I haven't been to the playoffs since. Well, maybe once.
No, I mean in life, not
The sports comparison has
Raiders.
gone down a dark road.
Yeah.
Me
Hey,
remember-
it always leads to the Raiders somehow, huh?
I know. The Tuck rule, the Super Bowl that we got killed in. The one AFC championship where we were going to Super Bowl and fat Tony Saragusa fell on Rich Gannon and broke his collarbone. And we lost the AFC championship game. Damn it. All right, we'll cut all this out. Last category, blockbuster pairing. What movie would you pair this movie with for a perfect double feature? I got 2 nominees. One is American Pie, and the other is Spinal Tap.
Oh, okay.
Get some more Eugene Levy making funny jokes in a dad role in
okay.
American Pie, or just keep the comedy train going with Spinal Tap.
Nice. Yeah, I was like, why did you pick American Pie? But yeah, Eugene Levy, and then also
Yeah, and then Jennifer Coolidge too.
Jennifer.
I forgot she's in.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's a good one. For a reason, so I made that comparison with Fred Willard earlier, how he was like that color commentary. So Dodgeball.
Oh, Dodgeball.
Yeah.
That movie was another one that kind of flew under the radar. Was that movie good? I can't remember.
Oh, it was well, it's like spawned so many quotable Ben Stiller.
That's true.
No one makes me bleed my own blood.
Right.
Ball me, Blazer.
Wasn't that the one where Jason Bateman they're broadcasting on the Ocho, ESPN the Ocho?
Yeah.
Good
Yeah,
era.
yeah.
Good call on
And
that
then,
one.
Another Jason Bateman quote. That's a bold move, Con. Let's see if it works out for them.
Oh, dodgeball.
Yeah, no shit.
We got the offbeat sport. We got the silly announcer. We got the crazy Ben Stiller guy. You know what's funny about Dodgeball? Did you ever see the movie Heavyweights?
Is that the basketball movie?
No, Heavyweights is a Disney movie from the 90s.
Oh, Ben Stiller with the fat camp.
Fat Camp. And Ben Stiller essentially plays this exact same character in Heavyweights as the crazy camp counselor. Ben Stiller either plays completely over the top character or completely beta male. There's no in between with Ben Stiller. He has some sort of body dysmorphia problem where he has to get super jacked or he's a dork. There's no in between with Ben Stiller. What movie is he in between? He's always this beta guy, Something About Mary or Along Came Polly, and then the other one, Happy Gilmore, Heavyweights, Dodgeball. He's completely nuts and everything.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, but yeah, they're more of like his dramatic movies where he plays like more of like a not so beta and then not so over the top. But yeah,
Yeah.
but those
What
are like
movie
dramas.
is that? What movies are those?
There are these movies that were
Reality
directed.
Bites, maybe?
No, well, fuck, dude. I forget the name of the director and like mad at myself, but he directed Francis Ha. He came in a lot of movies with so there's this movie While We Were Young with him and Adam Driver where he's like a documentarian. So yeah, it's more of like a so check those out.
Normal guy.
Yeah, forgetting the director's name, but sorry.
Interesting. Ben Stiller. Got off on a Ben Stiller kick there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, best of show. Did you ever see close to a near perfect movie? Completely enjoyable. You can just watch clips of it on YouTube all day.
Yeah.
or you can watch the whole movie. I think it's still on Hulu right now. You can watch the whole thing. We debated if the right dog won the competition. We debated our favorite character, our least favorite character. And I'll tell you right now, I could have used another 8 minutes with Scott and Stefan Vanderhoof just doing funny things in New York City.
Mm-hmm. Oh, geez. How tall are you, Patrick?
I'm 5'10".
Oh, ooh la la.
Best in show. Thanks, Adrian.